Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in. Roy Dekel, CEO of SetSchedule here. Super excited for you to listen or to watch this segment, I should say. You see, we got a lot of repetitive questions that really revolve around what is SetSchedule? Where did the name was originated from? What kind of problem you're solving for the real estate pro, for the real estate shoppers, for advertisers through technology? SetSchedule. We're not a calendar app. We're here to solve a much bigger problem, a much bigger issue when it comes to real estate. And we're super excited to share the information, the story, and the history of the company. My co-founder and I, Dorner, joined forces together to spend some time giving you a little bit of insight into the story, the background, and the birth of SetSchedule. Enjoy. It all started in a very disgusting, bloody room in Vegas. We had this funny joke of we had bloodstains on the carpet because it was, what was it, the Bally's Hotel? I don't remember what it was. Can we say the name or do we have to cut it out? No, we perfectly can cut it out, but no, I'm kidding. All right. No, but it started in a crappy room, right? I don't know what it was per night, but we were sitting there and we thought about the idea of creating a system around business development, creating a predictable way to build, grow the business and build a business of a realtor, right? A real estate agent, I should say. And we really didn't know where we're going to take it, but the end result was that we had 30, 40 different yellow sticky notes on the wall like this, only with a much worse view. And the rest is history. So that's how it started.
So it started a little before Vegas. So I've known Roy for a decade, and he was actually my client with a bunch of businesses and marketing. And when he started to market to find home shoppers, investors, sellers, I saw what he did manually, and I said, why shouldn't we use technology and scale this up? Because everybody in the industry needs the biz dev that he put on top of the leads that come in. And that's how, in my mind, SetSchedule started.
So when we were talking, I don't remember, it was one night we were having dinner, and what we came to realize is that I'm taking a path of building, this national brokerage after investing in multi tens of millions of dollars of properties, and actually hundreds of millions of dollars overall. And we realized that we came in from the professional side, right? I mean, we first addressed the real estate market from the professional side, not your typical lead generation website, right? Not your typical let's get leads concept. We actually used and worked with these lead websites, and we came to realize that the pros in a space of real estate need help. And we were going to, we're going to build another brokerage, if you will. But when we're sitting down and talking over dinner, we realized that, okay, well, we're going to solve the problem of cultivating leads from so many different sources for agents. We're going to build the agency. We're going to get brick and mortar locations. We're going to grow it nationally. We're going to make it big because that's the approach, right? But then we realized that we're going to have to build everything from scratch, even if it was for our own internal agency management, right? Whether it's the CRM, whether it's dispatching and sending the leads to the agents in real time after the consumer, the home shopper, the real estate investor, the buyer, the seller showed indication of interest. And we realized that we're going to have a scoring system of, okay, how do we know that this agent may be a great agent, our agent would be a great agent for our home shopper, right? And we talked about it, and the long and short of it, he said exactly what he just said. He said, hey, why not build the tech? So let's build the tech. Let's bring the product. Forget about the brokerage. Let's help the brokerage. And that's kind of like how SetSchedule was born. So I think it was a little bit different. That was my perception of the roadmap. I think that initially the idea was, let's build a solution, right? Let's build a product that is actually a solution and not another tool to help someone, right? Let's find and build a product that helps close the deal. Now, let's be real. I mean, people close deals. People handle people. So we will build the best tech there is. We'll build the best user interface there is, but we will never pretend then that there's an iBuy, there's an internet-only solution that will solve it all. So the service and the product that we set ourselves to build was all about creating the ultimate solution with the most user interface friendly interface to service the professionals, because that's where we started. But we realized as an extension of that, we really need to service the shoppers because they're just as important. And that's how our tech is built and evolves. So it started with that idea. And then after we kind of like named the baby and came with that concept, Udi went to his buddies, went to LA, found a couple of friends, said, would you pay for that? And they wrote the checks really quickly. We didn't even have merchant IDs, merchant accounts. We didn't have a website. We didn't have a company. We got the check and then we said, oh shit, we need to plan. And then we went to Vegas and put the sticky notes on the wall.
Yeah, we're looking at a bunch of names, and Roy called me and said, what do you think about the name SetSchedule? I liked it a lot. It hit perfect with what we do, and up to today it helps, you know.
So you're giving me the credit for the name?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I didn't remember it.
Yeah, because we were brainstorming. I'm not going to mention all the names. There was a lot of I this, I that, right?
Right.
But, you know, when you found SetSchedule and we found the domain is open for buying, and we liked how it all fits in. And we're pretty much, even when we look back, it's funny because all of the original thoughts and ideas of how to help the industry and solve the challenges, it all still connects from day one, for all the sticky notes from the hotel and the name and, you know, the mock-up of the app even before we had the actual native app. It's all still there, everything.
And it's really important because we came up, you know, with the name SetSchedule out of sheer gut feeling, because we felt that so many people, and I'm talking about business professionals, right, walk around like a chicken with their head cut off, right? I mean, where do I get the next client? How do I nurture them? They're not answering me. They're da 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 da. And we said, look, we want to solidify this uncertainty, take this marketing dollar, throw it against the wall and hope it sticks, and create the most economical, user-friendly, easier way to build your business on a very small to medium-sized scale, right? I mean, we don't care about the enterprise. I mean, yes, the enterprise is a client too, but we cared about Joe, right? So we said we'll make sure that we'll set schedule Joe's business, right? And that's kind of like how we came up with the name. And funny thing is that I think the number one criticism and opinion that we get is over the name, because people would expect, well, you should be a calendar scheduling software, no? And we say, no. I mean, our approach was a whole lot more granular than that, but thank you for your opinion. So we like the name, and the same with the name and the product. We realized that everything we did over the course of 3-4 years after always reverted back to, yes, we're a SetSchedule, we're all about set, and we're all about real estate pros and consumers, and our app was right then and it's right now, and the product and the path is pretty clear, and our clients speak, I mean, very loudly about that.
What happened, we built a backend system to automate and scale everything that we took a bunch of different systems to put together, and we built our custom technology that dispatches and manages without a native app. So what it did, it communicated via email and text fully with links and clickable links, and that's how we dispatched. When we saw that that's functioning very well and they love what we have and can't get enough of it, that's when we invested into building the native app, iOS, Android, cloud-based SaaS desktop. You know, we call it desktop because it's for all the desktops. And that really took us to the next level, because that was end of March 2018. So by then we already had 2,000 clients, but after the app launched, today we're sitting here with over 18,000 clients, and you know, we're not even 2 years after, right? So that's massive. So I'll speak about the challenges a little bit, right? Everybody that's been here for us, our friends and family, and that's why we're today here. Close friends and family that believe in us. Most people in this, when you do something new, it's like, where's the proof of concept? But we have 2,000 agents. But where's this? Where's that? There's always another step. Yes, now today it's different, right? We have native app and everything. But back then, people didn't really want to touch something they don't fully see, because it's not what everybody's doing. We're changing the way stuff is done. And I'm going to use an analogy that I like using a lot when I speak to funds and stuff. So if you take e-commerce and Amazon, what did Amazon do to e-commerce? All the individual owners of these sites and stuff now don't have to build websites. They don't have to market the websites, and they don't have to deal with the end consumers' typical questions, right? Not the product specific, but the typical. We do that for these big media companies because now they put it in our marketplace and it automatically manages and dispatch and engage and keeps it engaged throughout the process. And they're saving a lot of money on not having hundreds of salespeople that go after these agents for the same inventory. So the same way Amazon changed things at the beginning, it's like, oh, what's Amazon? Their bookstore, online bookstore, right? And people didn't really fully see it. We're doing that in the real estate space and way more. And it's real exciting because we're really solving a problem that not just for the media companies, but even the home shoppers, right? People are not servicing them well because of the connectivity and speed which we're providing here, because we're scaling with tech.
So I'm going to say it a little bit differently, to your point. So we redefined a category that didn't exist before SetSchedule and still doesn't exist, which is fully patented now, so it cannot exist. But we started with the funding of our friends, family, and customers. The first check was from customers, and that's when we knew that the product is important to our customers, which are the professional licensed real estate agents and brokers. And from there, we went to our immediate network. And I think there's a teachable moment here, because when we redefined the space, investors and prospective partners were just as confused as the end user consumer at the beginning, right? They didn't understand how to place it in a specific box, and there was no box. When you don't exist, where you're brand new, there's no box. So we went through that hurdle, but the beauty of it is that because we redefined a category that allows the real estate industry to develop business in a much more efficient and economical way, we realized that at the end of the day, the people who speak the loudest are your customers. And Jeff Bezos said it once. He said, don't worry about your I think he said shareholders even. You need to focus on your consumer base because these are the ones that write checks to you regularly. And it's true. It's true. Obviously, through our staff members, we really focus regularly in this business practice of listening to our consumers. And our consumers, our paid customers, are licensed pros, but they really go through a lot of elementary pain points because it's extremely difficult to be a real estate agent. And our platform provides them with the easiest way to obtain leads, to obtain data, to manage the leads in the most economical and sometimes, in many instances, free way to manage your business. But it's still a grind for the end user, and a lot of our users need constant support. So we really build this great ecosystem around the marketplace and around the SaaS products and around the support in this well-defined real estate space. Did you realize that technically we're not a startup anymore? I thought we're still a startup. It makes me feel old, so we're not founders of startup anymore. I'll jump on this one. I'll just say that we do what we preach, and we do as we expect our team members to preach, whether it's the agent success consultants or whether it's the territory managers, sales representatives. We don't believe in short-term gains. We don't believe in this thesis that because we can text today instead of faxing or instead of sending the pigeon via snail mail, we have to obsess over faster growth. I believe that responsible growth is important, and that's what we practice here. And we actually, because we deal with the pros as clients, we see a lot of the pros missing that mark. We see a lot of, I think the thrust of the biggest challenges and complaints revolve around immediate gratification or the lack of, and it's painfully wrong. It's painfully wrong because you don't know, talking about our clients, right? You don't know the home shopper that just had a bad day and picked up the phone and said, today is not the right day because I don't want to do anything. You don't know if that person is going to actually not do anything next month. If you stay in touch, you may find out, right? So the same mentality goes here with everything that has to do SetSchedule 101. Everything's set. Your business plan is set. Your time horizon is as set as possible. It's all about staying loyal to what you've set yourself as goals. And that's the business model. And nothing happens in a month. We are looking at a 5-year plan. We are looking at a 10-year plan. And that's why we're very adamant about the fact that in many instances, venture capital funds is not the right thing for a business. Investor partnerships that are wrong for the business are wrong for the business, And that's kind of like our mindset.
Something I want to add to that. Something that helps knowing if the decisions are right is when you look if it's good for the employees, good for the customers, and good for all the partners and investors, then you know if all three of them align, you know it's the right decision. And it helps because we evaluate stuff, to your question, daily. We look at the numbers daily. Not just us, but a lot of people, we all look at it daily. We meet multiple times a week to review different segments of those numbers, and we constantly pivot as needed, keeping in mind those three segments, making sure that they're all aligned and they all benefit from it.
As a company, you want to choose your partners. Your partners should be your best friends. And I believe that's what we have here. I think this guy here is my best friend. I don't know if I'm his best friend, but I'm his best friend. I mean, he's my best friend. But in any
Not
event.
family?
What's that?
Not family?
Don't do business with family. I'm kidding. The point is that if you don't have the right partners, it can be very, very cancerous. And what I speak about when it comes to business mindset and business development, especially in businesses that you're seeking investment, whether it's tech-centric or, or basically heavy on cash, is that you're better off having a very good conservative growth, focusing on your employees and your clients before you try to figure out a way to build a business that focuses on venture capital, specifically venture capital early stage. The earlier, the more vultures there are, right? And no pun intended, right? But it's just the nature of the beast. When you grow and you build a steady company and you go to public markets or private equities, they're more reasonable in most instances. And again, I mean, it's very much company-centric. And if the opportunity comes, right? I mean, but it has to be the right opportunity for both for business and the partners and the venture fund. And that's the key component. Because at the end of the day, there's really only one person or one entity that is loving the business. It's the founders, right? The other entities usually have tremendous amount of vested interest that is not a direct derivative of the founder's love and wants, right? It's whether it's a liquidation of their public funds, it's a time horizon on their investment thesis and the amount of money they need to bring within 5 years or 3 years or 4 years. Yes, they're all gonna say we're gonna be with you till death do us part, but that's not true. They have to be able to liquidate for profit and fast. And that's why it usually doesn't align with founders' vision. So internal as a company, we're doing very well for ourselves, and we're growing very fast. I mean, in a very responsible way.
So I'll speak a little bit about the journey of how we became where we are today, right? So first of all, whenever you start something, you need to make sure you have the support because you never know where and when it's going to end, right? So besides having Roy, I have a supporting, wife and family, and that helps a lot because not every day is easy, and most days you have to wake up and push because it's your dream and you have to push it and you have to remember that every day. Now, the beauty is I knew Roy for a decade before SetSchedule, and when I started being one of his vendors, then I noticed that Roy makes decisions in a way that I didn't see from any of my other clients. He's very fair and to the point, and that allowed me to start the engagement. And we, started dating before we got married, business sense. And I just, not gonna say every day is easy because we're building here stuff that's unbelievable, but it's very rewarding and I love every day. I really do, and couldn't ask for a better partner. Like you said, partnerships are very important. Built a lot of companies in the past, and when you wake up in the morning, you're not the only one that cares and pushes, even if it's not under your category, if it's your hat, this is your division, it helps a lot.
So you wouldn't get into a personal relationship if you somewhat like your significant other, right? That's number one. And I've learned it the hard way. I've been around the block. I've been around hypocrites that ran some companies to the ground, and I've learned from my own personal mistakes. And I think it's important that you get into business with someone you really like, number one. You really want to get into business with someone you really like with the right product. If the product is not good, you always have to can it and you have to move on. You need to know where to cut the umbilical cord and move on. The product has to be right, and that's the first presumption. But you have to get into business with someone you like, and you have to get in business with someone you like that you have a track record with. You don't like them for a year because you don't know them in the first year. Okay, it's kind of like getting married, moving in, and having kids within 3 months, right? The equivalent of that. It's a little bit fast. Okay, you want to take your time. So people that you like, the right product, and give it time. If you have those three secret component or not so secretive anymore, you'll be fine. We started with a primary focus on the real estate agents and brokers. Where we see ourselves in 5 years is, first of all, through the same app and ecosystem, providing professional SaaS tools, software as service tools, to all of the industry: real estate agents, mortgage brokers, title officers, and creating a very unique connectivity ecosystem. That's number one. That's all I'm going to say about that. But we also definitely 5 years from now see ourselves as very well dominating the communications and the nurturing and the loyalty servicing plan with the home shoppers, with consumers. And the idea is to have this multiple marketplace that really we're not looking to be the biggest publisher or website that generates leads, but we're definitely looking to be the biggest partner of all of the publishers and the biggest partner of all of the home shoppers in the quest of finding the local agent, maybe multiple agents, and the biggest and best partner when it comes to mobile applications and technology to the pros in terms of connectivity, CRM management, and marketplace of leads.